Really cool for the rookies and the younger classmen to really kind of learn how champions work. Like, what is their...
Sophie Cunningham didn't just show up to play basketball. She showed up to make a statement. The Washington Mystics found themselves on the receiving end of a performance that was less game and more full-blown reckoning. This wasn't just a preseason warm-up, it was a storm warning. And if anyone in the WNBA was still questioning whether the Indiana Fever had finally found their backbone, Sophie stepped on the floor and made it very clear. The answer is yes, and it wears. Number 0, it was supposed to be a quiet game, a routine matchup with the Mystics, nothing special. Caitlin Clark wasn't even playing. But what unfolded wasn't just a Fever win. It was a declaration of war against the same physical bullying and trash talk that's plagued Indiana's golden rookie since she stepped into the league. And leading the charge was Cunningham, Fever's newest acquisition, who brought more than a strong shooting hand. She brought an attitude.
When I tell you it's a good fresh breath of air, it is, and so you guys will see it soon.
The Mystics looked out of sorts, disjointed, and confused, like a team that got lost on the way to the yoga studio and decided to just wing it on a professional court. Meanwhile, Sophie was locked in. No hesitation. No adjusting period. Just raw energy and purpose. She hit shots with surgical accuracy, tore through defensive sets like paper, and stared down every challenge like it owed her rent. It didn't take long before the Mystics realized they weren't just up against a team, they were up against a movement. And the face of that movement was Cunningham. But it wasn't just about the buckets. It was the moment when the game turned from competition to confrontation. A Mystics rookie, perhaps feeling bold or just plain reckless, decided it was a good idea to get physical with Sophie.
Defensive intensity that she brings is like unmatched. Like, I told her, we were just in there.
Sophie, bad idea. Trying to punk Cunningham is like picking a fight with a wasp nest because you're bored. One hit and you'll spend the rest of the day regretting every decision you've ever made. And that's exactly what happened. Sophie didn't flinch. She didn't backpedal or look for a ref. Stood her ground, stared her opponent into the dirt, and made it known. This isn't your moment. This is mine. And Fever fans, they erupted. Finally, someone who wasn't afraid to clap back, stand tall, and let the league know Indiana isn't here to be anyone's punching bag.
Sophie
has that rare blend of toughness and talent, grit and grace. She drains threes like it's a morning routine and checks egos like she's on security detail. Her energy is magnetic, her leadership is instinctive. And her message was simple. You don't mess with the Fever. And you especially don't mess with Caitlin Clark. That's what this all comes down to. Ever since Clark entered the league, she's been treated like a threat, like someone who didn't belong at the table, despite bringing her own chair, plate, and 5-course meal.
Glued to it, you know, we kind of have a weird age gap. We have some oldies on the team, we have some young bucks, and I'm kind of the tweener.
The fouls have been hard, the treatment's been cold, and yet Clark has taken it all in stride. But the Fever needed more than a star, they needed a guardian. Someone to draw the line and say, you cross it, you deal with me.
Yeah, that's where...
Sophie comes in. She's not just a teammate, she's an enforcer. She brings that old school edge back to the court. The kind of energy that says if you try to body up our rookie, you're going to find out real quick you're not the only one. Swinging. Sophie's not here to play patty cake. She's here to win, to lead, and to make sure no one forgets who's in charge when the game gets physical. Meanwhile, Nalisa Smith stood on the other side of the floor like a ghost of the Fever's past, a reminder of what used to be. Once a rising star for Indiana, now just a footnote in a game that left her watching Cunningham dominate every headline. Every highlight, every inch of the court. This should have been her revenge game, a chance to prove Indiana made a mistake. Instead, she disappeared, blending into the background while Sophie lit up the scoreboard and ignited the fan base. You could feel it, the shift, as the old Fever used to fold under this kind of pressure. They used to let games slip.
Yeah, I mean, great question, because we have a lot of new faces here. You have a couple returns.
Let players get roughed up. Let rookies like Clark take hits while teammates watched. But this was different. This was defiance. And it all came from Cunningham, who turned every touch of the ball into a warning and every stare into a statement. The Mystics didn't just lose a game. They got run off the court and exposed in the process. Their physical play backfired. Their cheap fouls were met with heat. Every hard elbow was answered with buckets, defense, and that unshakable Sophie glare that says, "You tried it, now deal with it." Even the crowd could feel the tension shift. It wasn't a contest anymore. It was a correction. And Sophie Cunningham was the one setting the record straight. She didn't need theatrics. It's no screaming, no pointing fingers. Her game did all the talking. Each move, each pass, each defensive lockdown was another page in a book she's writing in real time, a book about heart, hustle, and backbone. And in that book, there's a whole chapter titled "Don't Try Me, the Fever Haven't."
Continue to do what's working and what's getting us those leads. And so we've had a lot of...
Just added a player, they've added an identity. With Clark orchestrating the offense and Sophie defending the pride of the team, Indiana is no longer the WNBA's easy win. They're not the soft target. They're the ones coming for blood. And it starts with Cunningham. This is what fans have been begging for. A team that doesn't just run plays, but runs opponents off the floor. A squad that isn't just talented, but terrifying when pushed. Sophie Cunningham embodies that spirit. She's the spark, the protector, the player who'll take a foul, return it with interest, and score on the very next play just to make a point. And Caitlin Clark. She can finally breathe. For the first time since joining the league, she has someone on the court who's not just playing alongside her, but standing up for her. Someone who sees the elbows, the dirty screens, the late hits and responds with purpose. Sophie's got her back. That changes everything. This isn't just about one preseason game. It's about the future, about what this Fever team is becoming.
Like creating the platform for them to continue to play really high-level basketball in their...
A group that blends youth with grit, flash with force. It's at the center of it. A woman who plays like every possession is personal. Because for Sophie Cunningham, it is. She didn't come to Indiana to blend in, she came to take over, shake up the league, to make it very clear that if you want to mess with this team, you're going to have to go through her first. And judging by what we saw against the Mystics, good luck with that. The message has been sent. The tone has been set. The Fever aren't here to participate, they're here to dominate. And Sophie, she's not just leading the charge, she is the charge. So next time someone thinks about testing Indiana's toughness, they might want to check the film. Watch what happened when the Mystics tried to play dirty. Watch what happened when they thought they could rattle the cage. Sophie didn't just shut them down, she buried them. With every bucket, every block, every moment of silent defiance.
Our locker room, if not the leader in our locker room, and she's the constant voice. And
this isn't your average role player. This is a culture changer. If the rest of the league isn't paying attention yet, they will be. Because Cunningham isn't done. It's just getting started. And you know what the best part is? We haven't even seen her and Caitlin Clark on the floor together yet. Now that's a storm nobody's ready for. If you're as hyped for the new look Indiana Fever as we are, let us know in the comments, are you riding with Sophie Cunningham this season? You think she's the enforcer the Fever needed all along? When Caitlin Clark returns, how dangerous can this duo really be? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because this Fever season is just heating up, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.